Here is a tour of the inside of my Dreambox to show the inside up close and personal, and to show how much stuff it actually holds. It's pretty amazing. I'm gonna open her up now. Okay, that's how open I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna pull all the way out and extend the swing doors fully open, because I'm still able to access the content of the cabinet without having to do that. So it can really fit in a small area. You don't even have to open the swing door all the way. You could just do it like this and it would still work. So it's pretty incredible. So I'm going to do this. So I won't be using the table as a workstation, because I'd be taking what I need from inside, put it into a tray, and take it to the kitchen, because that's where I'm gonna work on my cakes, not on this built-in table. But the built-in table I find helpful for putting, say, my tray on as I pull out things and put it in the tray. I have a surface to hold my tray in the meantime, and then when I am done, I can collapse the table. So that's how it's going to work for me. I am showing the storage under the table first, because I'm going to fold this built-in table afterwards, so I could easily get to the totes in the swing doors. Right now it's pretty tight in this configuration, but when you have the swing doors fully extended, then you can easily get to the totes in the swing doors, and also get to the little shelves down there. So that's pretty much the underneath of the table. I basically store all of excess inventory or supplies, so like fondant, modeling paste, modeling chocolate, and some of my piping bags and some of my flour making supplies, because I don't use those on a regular basis, so they just go in there. And then going up, I have my cake decorating pens and some other cake decorating tools. These candy molds, I couldn't fit them in the totes or the plastic drawers, so I have this bin. I just put them in there, and they're pretty light, so it works out. And that's another just an alphabet cutter. And this cubby actually is extra. It's an option, and I don't really have a lot to put in there right now. I only have those cake decorating pens, edible pens. But when I placed the order for this Dreambox at that time, the tool cubby sounded like a good idea, and this would be beneficial for maybe painters or crafters who would have paint brushes, and they can just put the paint brushes. You can stand this up long ways, or even face up, so that the holes are facing up, and you can put brushes and pencils and things. But for me, I prefer it this way, and I don't have that many cake decorating pens. Those are what I have been using, and so they work just fine. And then I just have this, my larger decorating tips, and I still keep them in the containers that I've always kept them, to protect them from dust. If I were to just put them in these bins, then these are open, so I really didn't want to do that. So I still keep them in there and just put them in there, and when I need them I can just grab that container and take it with me to the kitchen. And so this area here, I have all cookie cutters and some molds, silicone molds. So I have my winter, Christmas, and some seasonal here. And as you can see, when I store this before in my kitchen cabinet, I've always had them in Ziploc bags, so to protect them from dust, and I don't want to have to wash them every time before using them if they were just in this bin and it's empty and there's no cover. And even though I close the cabinet, dust always gets into things no matter how tight you close things. So these are just all my seasonal ones, and even my cake lace mats, I've always stored them in a bags, and so they are still in plastic bags. Even though I put them in here, I keep them in a plastic bag because I don't want the dust. And these are just embossing tools, and even my embossing rollers, like they have words and designs in them, and you emboss them into the fondant, and they're still in. I put them in bags again. And even my silicone molds, I put them in bags. And so these totes, they call them, are just on tracks. They are just sitting on tracks. They don't have a shelf under, so you can't really just open it and leave it there hanging while you take your things, because it's gonna fall down. It's gonna fall off because they don't have actual shelving here to hold it. So what people do, as I've seen, is that when they want to use something or take something out of one of these bins, they would actually take it out. They would actually pull it out, and that's why you have this table. I put contact paper, by the way, for color, because I love colors, but I would probably change this when I get tired of this design. I would change it, even seasonal, maybe something with winter scene or whatever. So then, but back to this. So you would take this out and put it in here and grab whatever you need, but you don't leave it hanging there halfway, because it's gonna fall off, because it doesn't have an actual wooden shelf. So some of these do have wooden shelves. If you so that the thing with this is you can configure however you want. So for example, for this one, I wanted this in here, and this, they call them shoebox totes. They don't really like unlike these, where it's the width goes all the way from here to here. These shoebox totes, they don't. So they provide you with this shelf, wooden shelves. So then you just insert that just like this into the tracks, and then you put this here, and that's, so this you could go like this, and it's not gonna fall because you have a full shelf there. So again, these mainly what I put in here are cookie cutters, and then I had leftover, I had more bins available, so I just put some of my silicone molds in there, because they're empty. They were empty, and I needed more space for my silicone molds. So I have my specialty cutters and multi cutters up there, and some of my flower cutters, and these are just the generic standard shapes: square, oblong, circle. And then up there I have some specialty, my shoe cutters and fashion and all those things. So that is the center part of this dream box, and the bottom part down there are just miscellaneous things that would not fit. I mean, they would fit in the totes, but for this one, for example, these are all my little fondant tools, and when I need it, I'm not gonna grab just one. I will grab this whole thing, put it in my tray, and take it to the kitchen, because I'm constantly going into these things. When I'm decorating, I'm constantly accessing this, and these are my sharps blades, so I'm constantly accessing this too. So I just grab this, and I have that in the kitchen, the whole thing. And so this is my black food gel, and it's huge. It wouldn't fit in my little bins. So this is what's this is how I configured the middle part of this cabinet. That's how I wanted it. All the cookie cutters there, and they seem to fit, because especially this one, I have a huge collection of Christmas ones and winter ones, so it was perfect for this big bin. And then again, down to the under the belt bin table. So this is the center part of the dream box, and then I'm going to collapse the table now so I can show you the swing doors. Okay, on to the swing doors. So I've shown this before. The swing doors, the farther part of the swing doors has all my sprinkles, which just makes me happy that all of my sprinkles are in one central location, and I can actually see them. Before, I had to dig through the storage that I had, and it was just, I don't know, I get frustrated sometimes because I'm constantly digging and not finding things because they were in the very back, and it was just, I don't know, I just love this. And I know that when I got this dream box, I already decided that these sprinkles will live on the inside the swing doors. So there they are, and these are mostly just standard sprinkles. And then on the right side of the swing door, I had some candy, decorating candy. I went to a candy store in Thornton, I think, and they had like so many very old-fashioned candy, and I just grabbed some and I just put those on top of cakes or cupcakes. And then these are more just miscellaneous things, various things here. And down in the bottom, I also just have various candies. So these are what I store here, and it works for me. I mean, you really can configure the dream box however you want. And then these are rods for ribbons, but I have so many ribbons that I decided I don't think I'm gonna store any ribbons here, because I want my ribbon in one location. So I had them right now on a rack on a wall that I kind of fashioned, and they work fine, but I have to move them in my new location downstairs, because they are upstairs right now in my old office. So I basically use this as a rail for my tall items. So I have this really tall rolling pin, and because this is not inside a cabinet anymore, I probably would be washing that before I use it, but it's okay because it's big and I can easily dry it before using it rolling fondant or any sugar paste. And this one has really long dowels for doweling cake, and as you can see, I put them again in a container because I just like things in a container so they don't get dusty, and especially they go into food. And these are rollers that I use mainly for cakes. These are my measuring things for measuring fondant, and also when I cut fondant, I use this as a guide for when I cut. And I love this little mallet thing. I use this to hammer down a dowel into the cake, especially if it's a long, thick dowel. And this one is my really sharp stainless steel wire cutter for when I make sugar flowers. So then I decided that this here would store all of my silicone molds on this side. So I have various molds. I have my shoe heel mold, and these are just flowers, nature, and banners for making edible leaves, and continuous molds. And here are all my flower making molds. And then here are all my cake scrapers. Oh my gosh, I am so happy to have all my cake scrapers in one location, and they're standing up, and I can actually see when I need one. I can just go like this and I can actually see. In my old storage, they were in a drawer and they were all flat, so I had to dig through them because I could not, I just didn't have a space to store them this way. But this shoebox totes are so perfect, and this I did not label because they're just, I know what they are, and I did not put any colored paper or anything to cover the whole thing. And some crafters who have this, they actually would put a square or this size. They would cut a piece of, say, I don't know, craft paper, different colors or designs and prints, and they would insert them into here because there is a holder. But I prefer clear, so I can actually see. Even though I label them, I can still see what's inside, so I keep them clear. So then here are my fondant smoother, and these are all measuring tools and fondant smoother. And again, since I just put them in there, I'd probably need to wash them before using, just because they're out in the open. So anyway, so here are my blades and my sugar. My blades are all in here, so anything sharp is in here, and also my modeling tools in there, and my ribbon cutters, and just different colors. And then these are my smaller decorating tips and couplers. So now if I need this, I probably would just take the whole tray and take it with me to the kitchen and then put it back once I'm done, because I'm constantly, when I'm cake decorating, it's like, oh, I need that, so I don't want to have to keep going back and forth here to the kitchen. I just grab this whole tray, and then I'm set. I have everything in the kitchen. So then these are my bags too, my decorating bags, my brushes. And again, my brushes are inside containers because, yeah, they're mainly for food, so I like them protected from dust. And these are all just my dowels. I have so many. I have small ones, big ones, colorful ones. And these are straws also, and I use them for dowels. Also, these are paper straws. I switched to paper straws after all the issue about turtles or whatever in the ocean, because plastic ends up in the ocean, and so I started doing paper straws. So these are paper straws. And down here, flower making tools. And these are just little things. I call them templates, and I just put them in. And okay, so this area here, this area holds this little tubs. They are deep but really narrow opening, and they are so perfect for little things. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have this. So I have all my, let's see, these are just miscellaneous things and candy making tools. So right there, so they're so perfect, aren't they? So then my smaller rolling pins and my palette knives and all of that. And these are just, I call decorating essentials, because every time I decorate a cake, I do fondant work, this always gets used. So I just grab this whole thing, take it with me to the kitchen, and I am set. And so this is probably my favorite thing. I did not fill this with bins because I have some of these taller things. As you can see, I have some of those taller things. and I have always struggled storing them. I had a little round bucket, and that's where I put them, but this is so nice. And so those are just mats that I use from time to time. And I have this, let me see, this is a stainless steel ruler. I mean, it's not really a ruler because it's not, there's no rule or not marked, but it's basically just a long piece of stainless steel, and it's kind of sharp on the edge. And one year I was telling Dave, I said I could use a really long ruler for when I roll out a really long strip of fondant to make a border or a ribbon or something. And I have, the biggest one I have is an 18-inch ruler, stainless steel also. My criterion was stainless steel because it would touch food. It has to be stainless steel. So Dave went looking and he found that, and he said, "Oh, it's called a drafting ruler." He said it's a drafting ruler, and he said, "You want it?" And I said, "How much?" He said $50. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And he said, "Well, if you need it." And so he got it for me. And yeah, so this edge is a little sharper, and I love it so much. I put it after I rolled long piece of fondant, I put it on there, and I just cut all the way down. I don't have to move the ruler. Like if I had an 18-inch ruler and I'm cutting a 24-inch strip, I'll have to move the ruler, then I mess up with my line. So that's really nice. So I keep this open just for that purpose, and it's so perfect. And then over here, so this really, they hold this tiny little thing. So I have this petal dust, and look how perfect it fits in there. And it's just really, I don't know, I just love these little things. And more petal dust right here. See, look how perfect that is. It's just so perfect. And luster dust and cake paint. Look at that. It's so nice. And so yeah, so candy color, metallic cake paint, so many. And then these are taller ones. These are candy colors, so they're oil-based. The regular color is water-based. So these are oil-based for chocolate, coloring chocolate. And so how they are taller. So what I did was I actually adjusted the track to be lower a little. So the track, this right here, it's lower a little so that to accommodate the height of the bottles. And so that's the great thing about this Dreambox. You can really customize it to your needs. And so here's some more. What is that? A powder color. So yeah, so for coloring macarons. So that's what that is. And here's a set that's even taller. So these are just even taller. So I went all the way down on the track. I put the track down there. And so I would be able to store this. At first I thought I might have to put it somewhere else, like maybe there. But then I figured, oh, I can just adjust the track. And so I did. And it fits. And now I have all this different color family, my neutral, my browns, and then red color family, RGB, red, green, blue, and then down here is the neon colors, and I don't use this that much, so that's why they're in there. And then down here, the last section, I have all my alphabets and number cutters, so I decided to group them in here. So I have those, and then my candy coating are all in here also. So I just grouping, so you only go to one area and everything is in there for that particular category, I suppose. And then so all of here are my cupcake baking cups or liners. So I have some jumbo ones, I have some regular ones, I have some seasonal ones, and then mini, and then cookie bags. I still need to fill this. I have it downstairs. See, I have stuff everywhere, so it's really nice. And so these are some non-edible decorations, and these are some more cake toppers and edible decorations. So that's all that is. It's so much stuff, isn't it? So, but it's just so nice. I just love having everything in this one area. And I would just go in here and grab things, and I don't go from one corner to the next corner, to, I don't know, the kitchen, and then to the office, because I have stuff everywhere. So this is really, really nice. So that was it. That's my Dreambox, and I love it. Very heavy piece of furniture and very well built. And I could say that it is worth the cost, the price that Create Room, which is the company that makes it, charge for it, because it's pretty incredible. I could not believe all of my things fit in there. I look forward to actually having a cake to do, so I could open it up, get all my things, and take it to the kitchen and put it back. And I don't know, I admire it every time I come down the stairs in the morning. After waking up, I go down, it's the first thing I see, and I'm like, oh, my Dreambox. So I have a cake to do the first weekend in February, so that will be the first time I'll be actually going into my Dreambox and getting all of the things and putting them back, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it for years.